Can we start at, do you guys have measure numbers, right? Yeah, I don't know. I know. It's a Wednesday. Measure 8?
Yep.
Okay.
First off, when you show in a cello rondo, we really have to sort of rid our body of any extra tension. Yeah. And it's actually one of the hardest places to do that is during a cello rondo, right? But you need to create the appearance of your arms just falling in order for them to be predictable. Okay? So where does the cello rondo start?
I'm starting it at 13, but I believe it starts earlier, technically.
Yeah, sempre più allegro più stretto, right? So sempre più allegro, always more allegro, and then più stretto. Stretto is the same as like the cello rondo, right? It's condensing or getting closer. Okay, so it does kind of start at 8, but you're right, most of it happens in the second half of it. Okay, so focus on freeing your body of tension and letting your arms fall while getting smaller throughout this, starting at measure 8. You have to sort of free yourself of that extra tension at measure 8. Okay? Start wherever.
At 8.
Much better. Yeah, that's much better. When you switch to 2, your beat 2 needs to be a little bit more obvious. You're kind of staying down here.
I noticed that as I go.
Yeah, okay, good. So technically, that's working pretty well. There's a few musical problems now. Right? What's the tempo at the presto?
112.
But what is 112?
Whole note.
Whole note is 112.
So 1 bar is 112.
What's that?
1 full bar is
1 full bar is 112. Right? Yeah, so the right. So the presto, even though it's written in cut time, has to be in 1. Okay, so that's where we're going. Right? We have to somehow get there from the allegro before. Okay? So what extra wrinkle, what problem have we just created? Yeah.
During the cello, you have to switch from 4 to 2, then to 1.
Yeah, you have to switch from 4 to 2 and then to 1. Okay? So let's start with where we're going, and then we'll figure out how to get there. So Noah, why don't you start right on the presto? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, didn't you conduct this into...
I conduct this whole thing in 2. Right.
Yeah. So
Which
that's why
avoids-
it's even at the beginning,
Yep.
I wanted to do
Exactly. Right. That's where I was going.
Okay.
which cuts out that whole problem.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go from 4 to... And that's the reason that I conducted in... Well, okay, it also comes from the rest of the movements in 2. But the allegro, even though the tempo is written in quarter notes, I conducted in 2 because it cuts one whole change out. Okay? So let's start with where we're going, and then we'll figure out how to get there. Start at the presto.
So do you just want me to...
In just in 1. Ba, 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 da, ba,
Okay.
ba, 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 da, ba, ba. Yes, right. Do it one more time. Be really clear with the 1. Okay, much better. Now, back up. And where do we first have in a establish tempo, I'm going to ask that differently. What is the tempo at the very beginning? Because we have a clearly established tempo at the start.
120.
Right? Yeah, 120. So what does that look like? If you're in 2, what does that look like? Yeah, good. Good, okay. So conduct from the beginning up until the downbeat of measure 8. Okay, good. For you, there needs to be a clear rebound on 1. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, you're still sort of like just sticking to 1. Yeah, good. Make beat 2 a little smaller and beat 1 a little bigger. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Right. Exactly. Yep. If you're going to change a tempo, and this is true for you on your instruments as well, if you're going to change a tempo, you first have to establish the tempo you're going to change. Okay? It is way too complicated, and it'll feel much too unsettled if the tempo is like leaning forward, being on the back end, fluctuating, or rubato, before you have the cello rondo. Right? So when at all possible, clearly establish a tempo right in the pocket before you make a change. Okay, so start next time. Yep. Okay, now this is the spot where you're going to start to speed up. Okay? So I cheat just a little bit when I conduct this. The first 4 bars I conduct just the way Noah did. Starting on the downbeat of measure 5, I get just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. It works musically because there's such a change in texture, right? That you conduct a little bit larger. Keep the tempo established. And then right? Then I have more room to get smaller. Okay? So clear tempo at the beginning, get a little bit larger at either measure 5 or measure 8, both works, and then get smaller for the cello rondo. Okay? Start at the top. Okay.
I went a measure earlier. Besides that.
What was the problem?
I went a measure early into 1.
Okay.
And also I feel like that transition from that dun, 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 and then do it at the rebound of 2, I go up, right, and then land on that 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You all didn't get fast enough.
Okay. Beginning again.
when you went into 1, you were too slow. You got fast enough, and then slowed down.
Let's start at 8. It's because I'm hearing that duh, and for some reason I want that to be held.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Yep. I think what's happening musically as well, like Beethoven is changing what our sense of pulse is. He goes ja ba 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 bum, ba 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 boom chick 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 ba ba dum 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 yum bum 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 ba 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 ba. Right? So in your brain, you have to sort of transition from feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I think what my problem is I'm seeing 2 measures in the presto at 112 as one phrase.
Uh-huh.
Da, 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 da,
Yep.
da, instead of 2 separate measures.
Mhm.
I gotta try it more time.
Probably a conductor out there somewhere who's done it in half a bar. Like who's conducted it in like 2 bars in 1 beat. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's done it.
Okay. Gaze on start.
Yeah, that's better now. Yeah, this you will have to actually practice. Right? Every time I conduct Beethoven 5, I practice this transition in a mirror. Good, brother. Let's have somebody else in this one. Yep, Jimmy.
Have fun.
Thanks.
I love how it looks so simple too. And it's just not.
That is true of.
You said the same one, right?
Yeah. That's true of all of Beethoven's symphonies.
Yeah.
They all look pretty straightforward on the page, and then to actually conduct them is really.
That's good.
It was so close. It was so close.
That's fun.
During the accelerando, you lose a little bit of time because your beat 2s are too. Sorry, your beat 1 is too big.
Okay.
Your rebound from 1. So you and Noah need to like meet in the middle, and it's perfect.
All right.
Okay. So as you get faster, beat 2 has to be a little smaller.
Okay.
Do it one more time.
I didn't shell fast enough, and then realized that, and then tried to do too much in the end, and then didn't get where I needed to go.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't even need me. Okay.
I didn't like that.
Do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
And actually, one thing, everybody, as you, hang on, make sure what I'm going to say is correct. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. So the sempre più allegro più stretto, the boom chick phrase, is 9 bars long. Okay, but this whole thing is clearly in groups of 4 bars. So you got the first 4 bars. That's one group. And then one. Okay? So it's the second measure of the boom chicks that's the start of a new grouping, not the first measure. So as you're keeping track in your head, it's easy for this 9-bar phrase to screw up your sense of like how to pace this accelerando. So if you can feel the first boom chick at the end of the previous phrase, not the beginning of the new one, it'll make more sense. It'll just feel more logical. When this works, it should feel less like you're making them speed up and more like you're letting it speed up.
Yeah.
Right? Because that accelerando really is like in the music. It's there. Just let it happen. Okay? That's why we really have to free ourselves of tension. You're still slowing down a bit on these rebounds. It's right at the time. Start on the measure E. It is that you're conducting too fast for it to really mean anything. Okay, so play for me from the beginning, so watch. And the boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick gets closer and closer together. Not as close together as it just happened in the sky. But that should be like how that works. Okay. Do one more time.
All right. From the top.
Yes.
I was following him.
Another option, and I've seen other conductors do this, is they go into 4 bars before. Because it does actually get too fast to really make any sense. I don't like to do that. I find that it just freaks ensembles out when I go into 1 early, but that's certainly something you can do as well. So, something to think about. Okay? Bravo. Yeah, no.
gesture, I feel like I remember you gesturing on the third beat, or the fourth beat, sorry, of like the first four measures. Because for some reason I remember like you going da, da, da.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what I want, you don't really need to do that unless there's string players. But
Right.
ba 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 is the stroke. So I usually will show something. 1, 2, ba 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 ba
Okay.
ba ba. Yeah, and that's also why I get bigger in the next phrase, is because you don't need as much. Since I'm not showing that, I have more room. Okay, for Monday, everybody, from Monday, these same two excerpts, okay, but we're going to add 11.1. 11.1 is the end of New World Symphony. On this excerpt, there are many options on how this works. So you're going to have to make some decisions. Okay? There are numerous tempo changes, both like tempo relationship, metric modulation, and rallentando and accelerando. Okay? You need to decide how you want this passage to work. And like every Dvorak symphony, there are no two conductors that do them the same. Okay, so just make a decision on how you want this ending to work. The 7th Symphony, the 8th Symphony, and the 9th Symphony, every single conductor, every single one, does them differently. Down to where you go into 2, where you go into 4, where you start the accelerando, where you start rallentando, whatever. Everybody does them differently. So, and almost all of those versions work. Right? That's kind of the genius of some of this music. That's what makes this symphony is so freaking hard to conduct, is you have to really make a decision. And that's true here. Okay? So decide how you want this to go, and then just make it happen. Thanks, folks.